So we had to split up the Unit 6 review. This is second part. This will be 11 through 15. Let's get started. So number 11. Math is a parallelogram. Find the measure of angle T. Since it's a parallelogram, they gave you angle A and angle H. These are opposite angles. Opposite angles in a parallelogram are equal, so x plus 65 equals 2x plus 15. Subtract x. 65 equals x plus 15. Subtract 15. 50 equals x. They said find the measurement of angle T, which is right there. Angle T is consecutive or adjacent to A and H. In a parallelogram, consecutive angles are supplementary. So I'm going to take the 50, I'll plug it into A since it looks easier. 50 plus 65 equals 115. That is the measurement of angle A. Angle T is supplementary to it, so I have to take 180 and subtract the 115 from it. And you're going to get 65 degrees. Angle T is 65 degrees. 12. A, B, C, D, and F, G, H, K are both rhombi in the coordinate plane. Which statement could be used to help prove why they are not congruent? So it said they're both rhombus, which means the property of rhombuses have to be true. AC is perpendicular to BD. Where's that? AC is perpendicular to BD. Got it. But FH is not perpendicular to GK. This is not an answer choice because it says right here very clearly that they're both rhombi and diagonals in a rhombus are perpendicular. So FH, if FH is not perpendicular to HG, then it's not a rhombus. But it is a rhombus. They're just not congruent. This is saying that they're similar. BC is not congruent to GH. BC and GH. GH. BC. First, let's see if those letters line up. BC, GH. They do. So they're corresponding. Now let's see how big they are. Instead of using the distance formula to find this length, I'm going to use the fact that this is a right triangle and the Pythagorean theorem. This side down here is 3. This leg is 4. So 3 squared plus 4 squared equals BC, or C squared. 9 plus 16 equals C squared. 25 equals C squared, or C equals 5. So this side is 5. Which, you should remember, this is, if this is 3 and 4, then it's 5 automatically. It's a 3, 4, 5 right triangle. Gotta find this HG. I'm going to do it by turning it into a right triangle. This is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, so automatically this is 5. So this is not an answer choice because they are congruent. It says BC is not congruent to GH, but they are. So since this is congruent to that, that means the two shapes are still congruent. BD is not congruent to GK. BD, GK, the diagonals. We're dealing with the diagonals. I'm going to change colors for this one. BD, you can just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So BD is 8. Oh, let's write it right above it. GK, again, I'm going to turn it into a right triangle so I can find out if the diagonal of my right triangle is 8. If it is 8, then C is not an answer. If it is not 8, then C is my answer. Because for them not to be congruent, you have to have one line not the same. So this side is 1, 2, 3, 4. This side is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which means you have 4 squared plus 8 squared equals C squared. 16 plus 64 equals c squared, which is 80 equals c squared, and the square root of 80 is not 8. So C is my answer. 13. Rectangle ABCD has vertices there, respectively, and GHJK is similar. Where are J and K? So this is -7, -2, 1, -2, 1, 8, or 1, -8, sorry, going the wrong way, and -7, -8. So here's my rectangle. This is ABCD, so A, B, C, and D. A, B, C, D. GHJK is similar. Rectangle G is at 2, 5, so that's G, and H is at 6, 5. Now let's see, GH goes with AB, so GH this goes with that. Where are points J and K located? And since it's A, B, C, D, it's going to be G, H, J, and K have to be somewhere down there. Let's find out where. It says that it's similar, so that means it has to be proportional. AB is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units long. GH is 1, 2, 3, 4 units long. To get from 8 to 4, you just divide by 2, which means BC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Divide that by 2, 1, 2, 3. There's where my J goes. That means K is going to be 1, 2, 3. So J is 6, 2, and K is going to be at 2, 2. The sides are proportional, so if you go from 8 to 4, that's dividing by 2. If this side's 6 divided by 2, this side then has to be 3. Just count down 3. There's where your J and K are going. 14. You have coordinates. You're trying to prove that it's a rectangle. Let's go ahead and draw it. So you have -1, 3, 1, 2, -1, -2, -3, -1. And that's A, B, C, D. To prove that it's a rectangle, you have to have 4 right angles. Opposite sides are congruent, parallelogram, all that good stuff. So, number 1, obviously, given. The slope, you can find the slope in a graph, algebra 1, using the coordinates. Finding the slope of AB, rise over run. So from B to A, I went up 1 over 2. So this slope is -1/2. This slope up 1 over 2, -1/2. BC, rise is 1, 2, 3, 4 over 2. 4 over 2 is just 2. Line's going up, so it's positive. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 2. 4 over 2 again is 2. So these are my slopes right here. -1, -1, 2, and 2. AB is perpendicular to BC. AB is perpendicular to BC, which is perpendicular to DC, which is perpendicular to AD. All those lines are perpendicular to each other from the definition of perpendicular lines. Actually, let's erase that, because I can't see that they're perpendicular. I can tell by definition of perpendicular. Slopes. Slopes are opposite reciprocals. Lines are perpendicular. AB is parallel to CC. AD is parallel to BC. That is definition of parallel slopes. If the slopes are the same, lines are parallel. All angles are equal to 90 degrees. Definition of perpendicular lines. Since all angles are 90 degrees, that's the definition of a rectangle. ABC is a rectangle. Definition of rectangle. The last one, everybody's favorite, check boxes. Let's go. Two pairs of opposite parallel sides, that is a parallelogram. If it's a parallelogram, it's automatically a rhombus, a rectangle, and a square. Doesn't have two pairs of parallel sides, doesn't even have any. One pair of opposite parallel sides is an isosceles trapezoid. Diagonals bisect each other in a parallelogram. A rhombus, a rectangle, and a square are all parallelograms, so they all have it. Diagonals are congruent, not a parallelogram, not a rhombus. They are congruent in a rectangle, a square, and an isosceles trapezoid. Diagonals are perpendicular in a rhombus, a square, and a kite. As soon as you click rhombus or rectangle, it's automatically you're clicking square as well. Every time parallelogram, rhombus, or rectangle are checked, square has to be checked with it. None of these first three will be checked by themselves without square. Consecutive angles are supplementary in a parallelogram, a rhombus, a rectangle, a square, and an isosceles trapezoid. Two pairs of opposite angles are congruent, parallelogram, rhombus, rectangle, square. One pair of opposite angles congruent, kite. All right angles, that's a rectangle and a square. Two pairs of opposite congruent sides, parallelogram, rhombus, rectangle, square. Alright, that is the Unit 6 review. If I went too fast, please pause it, rewind it, watch it over and over and over and over again. If you have any questions, text me through Remind. The test is going to be the end of January, beginning of February. Good luck.